If you've been feeling stuck, uncertain, or like something is just off lately, this video will explain why. There are always signs when a breakthrough is coming, even if things feel hopeless right now. Let's look at the 7 signs that say, you're closer than you think. Hi, it's Karen from Soul Driven Tarot. If you're watching this, chances are you're in the middle of a serious spiritual transformation. Maybe it feels messy. Maybe things feel hopeless, like nothing's working. But I pull cards specifically for the people watching this video right now. And the message is clear. You're not stuck. You're actually leveling up. These 7 signs show you're on the edge of a major breakthrough. So let's dive in and look at the cards. For the first sign, we have the 5 of Cups. This is all about how you're currently seeing old stuff coming back up. You might be seeing patterns, emotions, or beliefs you thought you'd already dealt with. Maybe it's an old trigger, a definition you thought you'd changed, or a slightly different version of a belief you know you released months ago. It might feel like you're going backwards, but you're not. What's really happening is that you're making sure every tiny little aspect of all the old stuff is fully resolved. Think of it like this. You've cleaned the house, and now you're finding those last little breadcrumbs in the sofa. Your higher self is currently making sure you see exactly what's still left so you can completely release everything to do with it. And once you clear these final tiny little pieces, you'll experience a big level up. New opportunities, new people, new circumstances, all that actually align with the new you. And they're all waiting on the other side of this release. So don't panic. Things aren't as hopeless as they might look. Instead, you're simply ready for the next level. And all those tiny little pieces left over that you hadn't noticed before that just need clearing up to get there. You're 99% of the way there, but the next level needs you to get to 100%. When you experience an old pattern, emotional response, or trigger, simply ask yourself, what do I need to learn from this? What would I have to believe to experience this? Drill down into those beliefs and definitions so you can finally let go of all aspects of them. The second sign is from the Queen of Swords. This is all because you're now serious about controlling your mind and thoughts. You're no longer letting your mind run wild. You're catching limiting beliefs faster. You're questioning thoughts that don't serve you. And you're actively cutting out those mental patterns that keep you small. The Queen of Swords is all about clarity and discernment. You're becoming the gatekeeper of your own mind instead of letting it run you ragged. As you raise your vibration, it doesn't mean that everything will become roses and sunshine, however. What it actually means is that you'll become more aware of all the options. This means you'll see more light, but you'll also see more of the dark. This is true consciousness. It's that ability to choose which experience you want. To do that, you can't invalidate any of the options. Instead, you need to realize that all options are equally valid and then consciously choose the one you prefer. So you will see evidence of negative beliefs showing up in your life. The difference, though, is you now recognize them for what they are. That's not a setback. That's awareness. And awareness is the first step to transformation. When you experience something you don't consciously prefer, ask yourself, what would I have to believe to create this experience? Once again, drill down into the root belief that's driving it all so you can fully let it go. The third sign involves the Page of Swords. This is where you're starting to get some higher vibrational thoughts flowing through your mind as a result of all the work you've been doing. Maybe it's sudden insights, creative ideas, or just a lighter, more compassionate inner dialogue. The Page of Swords represents this new mental energy. Curiosity, fresh perspectives, breakthrough ideas. This is a huge indicator of the coming breakthrough because your thoughts create your reality. So when your baseline thinking shifts to your higher frequency, your external world has to start mirroring that new reality. However, there's often a little lag between these mental changes and your external reality showing that change. And this is where things can feel hopeless. because you feel like you've done the work, but you aren't seeing the results. It's where my clients sometimes get tripped up and fall into the trap of thinking they've done something wrong, or they're not worthy of the change, and so on. Unfortunately, if that kind of negative thought pattern happens and you buy into it, you're now putting that energy out there, so you can end up pulling your vibration back down because of it. So what you need to do is stay in that knowing state within yourself that you've made that shift, no matter what you're seeing externally. The reason for this lag is because you have a definition that says things require a certain amount of time to change. So you create that delay before the change becomes visible in your outside world. You haven't done anything wrong. It's not a mistake. It doesn't reflect on your self-worth and so on. It's purely a definition you have that things take a certain amount of time to change. If you really have got to the root of the issue and had this change in your thinking, instead of just pushing away the thoughts you don't like and pretending you don't hear them, then your outer world has no choice but to change, and you will see the evidence of it as soon as it's taken that required amount of time you believe it will take for the change to occur. So stay knowing that you've done the work, and you'll see the results. If this reading is resonating with you so far, hit the subscribe button below. I share practical tarot readings and spiritual guidance like this every week to help you stay aligned and move forward with clarity. For the fourth sign, we have the King of Pentacles. This is where you're starting to notice abundance everywhere you look. It might not initially be financial abundance that you see, although it could be if that's what you need. Notice I didn't say want. However, you'll find that you'll become more and more aware of other forms of abundance, like opportunities, gifts, trades, synchronicities, creative ideas. This helps you see how supported you are, no matter what external circumstances are telling you. And when you start seeing all of that abundance everywhere flowing around you, that's when you become more open to receiving it. Without that awareness of all that abundance that surrounds you, most people end up focusing on lack instead. And all that does is create more lack, since that's what they're focused on. So when you start to see all this abundance and realize it's literally everywhere, in every possible form, then you're opening yourself to see more and more abundance in your life in the form that you need, instead of continuing to experience an abundance of lack. The fifth sign is from the Knight of Cups. When you start to feel more unconditional love and empathy with others, that's when you know your heart is opening to the higher frequencies. You'll feel more compassion for yourself, for others, even for situations that used to frustrate you. You'll find you forgive more easily because you can now see things from the other person's point of view. When this energy shows up, it means you're stepping into fifth dimensional consciousness. This is when everything you do comes from the heart and unconditional love. All your thoughts, all emotions, all behavior, and therefore everything you experience. When your heart is open, you're in alignment. You're magnetic. You attract people and opportunities and experiences that match your true frequency, not the previous trauma-based frequency that you once had. And once again, you'll quickly see this change reflected in your outer reality, but it will depend on that definition that you have for how long change takes to occur. The sixth sign involves the Nine of Cups. This is about gratitude. And when you realize you're genuinely grateful for everything you experience, both the things you prefer and the things you don't, you've gone from only being grateful for the stuff you wanted, trying to push away and ignore and invalidate the things you didn't want. And now you've moved into feeling gratitude for everything and everyone in your life. You find gratitude for the challenges, the delays, even the things that trigger you, because now you realize those things are what are teaching you what you need to work on to grow. Gratitude is one of the fastest ways to raise your vibration. And when you can be grateful for what is going on in your life, you stop resisting it. And when you stop resisting, you stop invalidating it as a possible outcome. When you can do that, you'll experience whatever it is, learn whatever you pull the experience towards you to learn, and then move through it without getting stuck in it, which means you'll move out of it and towards what you prefer much faster. So which of the signs that we've covered so far are you noticing in your life? Let me know below in the comments. I'd like to listen. I'd like to hear them. For the 7th sign, we have the 8 of Pentacles reversed. This is when work doesn't feel like work anymore because you're starting to follow your passions. So instead of work, it feels more like enjoyment and doing what you really want to do. When you're following your passions more, you're doing the things that light you up. It doesn't matter if it's a job, a business, or just something you do on the side for the moment. Ultimately, it's about following your passions 24/7. And I don't mean working 24/7. I mean the tiny little passions like, I'm passionate about going to bed right now, or I'm passionate about eating lunch, or doing some exercise, or whatever it is that you're passionate about in the moment. Then, when you're passionate about using your gifts to help others, i.e. work, you do that. We're designed to be fully supported by our passions, whatever they are. If you're passionate about doing or creating something, it's because somebody else needs it. That's just the way the universe works. So this 8 of Pentacles reversed is about breaking free from doing what society and your traumas were telling you should do for work. Instead, start aligning with your soul's work. When you're in alignment, things feel effortless. There's no forcing, you're simply flowing, following what you're passionate about in every moment. And when that happens, that's when the magic occurs. Your breakthrough is a lot closer than you think. If you're experiencing a few of these signs, trust the process. You are not stuck. You are transitioning. If you want personalized guidance for your specific situation or coaching to work out which beliefs and definitions you need to change, check the link in the description below for a private reading or blockbuster session. I'd love to support you on your journey. In the meantime, I'll see you in the next video.